The most memorable part of being in this band is getting to know every one of these guys. They've been very welcoming. I've actually come from another band, and they knew that that band had broken up first, and they just lost a bass player, and they said, "Hey, Carl, why don't you come on in?" And it allowed me to keep on playing when I probably would have given it up. But knowing these guys and knowing that they are great guys, they welcomed me in to be part of the Global Village group family, and kept me playing.
The most memorable part of being in Global Village is definitely the live shows, the traveling, and that moment when you walk out on stage before you play your first note and you look out and see that sea of people hungry for that first hit.
My favorite thing about being in Global Village was, I was so young. I was 21 years old when I joined Global Village, and I got to play some really cool gigs. Like, we played at Fitzgerald's, and that place was packed. And we used to play, just amazing, to be that age and getting on stages at, clubs and, packed, especially playing the drums, kind of laying down the beat, and people are just, rocking and dancing, and all those gigs at Yaga's where we, there was like barely any room to stand. Just beautiful, fun, amazing memories.
I can't say there was one that tops the others. It was just a learning experience for all of us. It was very interesting, all the different personalities and all the different guys come from different backgrounds. We all got together and made a bunch of music together, and it was very formative for me. So that's what I'll remember from the Global Village experience.
I remember we played what's called the Freedom Fest in Houston, and that is a giant annual concert that they do every year on 4th of July. And I remember I wanted to play the Freedom Fest, and so I did what I could every year to try to work our band into a situation where we'd play it. And so one year, I just remember the sea of people, just the tens of thousands of people at the Freedom Fest when we played on this huge, probably the biggest stage in Houston every year. And there must have been, and I think I found out later, 500,000 people, with another 200,000 people watching on TV. And just while we were on stage, and the helicopters flying over everybody at the Bayou in the city of Houston, and the media, and to me that was amazing, and it's something that you have to experience to really understand when you are on a stage like that, and there are literally hundreds of thousands of people watching you perform. And for me, that was one of the most poignant moments playing in the band with Global Village.
I would say my most memorable moment in GV was have to be the early to mid 90s. We, being a bunch of Houston sports nerds, that we became part of the Rockets party rotation. They would have us out to their Christmas parties. They would have us out to the Summit Compact Center and play during timeouts and halftime. The biggest thing we got to do, we played the second championship season party that was directly after Game 4, where we were at the River Oaks Country Club and played the night away with a bunch of drunk players and coaches, and that was a good time. That was probably our best gig, our favorite gig.
We played together. We were dual bands when we were young, really young and good looking and sexy and cute and everything like that. And then I went off and had a family, totally stopped playing, no longer a musician even. They continued to grow. I became a fan. I would go to their shows. And then my best friend ended up being the guitar player. And that made me go even more, showed up to more shows, would talk to Trey about computers and stuff like that, because that's what I do, and that's what he does at his job. Then all of a sudden, I get a call and they say, "Hey, you want to play?" And I'm like, I can't play anymore. And they, "Sure you can play." And then they came and we practiced, and they go, man, you really can't play, can you? So then next thing you know, I'm supposed to be a 2-week fill-in, and 2 years later, the band broke up. So I played for 2 years with Global Village. It rekindled my love for music and rekindled the joy of making stuff and working with this team with guys who are not so much alike, but a lot alike in a lot of ways. So I can never say thank you enough for that, because otherwise I wouldn't be playing music at all anymore. And instead, I consider myself a part-time musician. I'm not as good as these guys, but I'm a part-time musician. But I still have the love, and I pass that love on to my kids, and my kids see it, and they actually, one of my kids is a really good musician. Another kid's kind of like me, just likes it as a break off from reality, and enjoys the art of creating stuff. So I'm really weird in this whole thing where I was a competitor, I guess, at one point, and then I became a fan, and now I am a member, and I appreciate them embracing me and letting me be a part of the reunion.
I think for me, in general, it was always kind of the work experience. Working with a bunch of really talented musicians who had a lot of very beneficial auxiliary gifts and skills made the work easy and fun. What might happen in the band room, someone would bring in an ideal, and there was such a high level of trust, we very rarely failed to work out the ideal to its conclusion. There were a lot of days like that, and that made wanting to go to rehearsal just as much fun as wanting to be on stage. I remember one particular instance when Oslo brought in the ideal to do a Thelonious Monk tune, Well You Needn't, which is far outside the scope of what you would imagine a funk band tackling. But nobody poo-pooed the ideal. It was all hands on deck, let's try and work this out. And it was Carl, who was always a great facilitator, who came up with the ideal to turn it into like a Washington, D.C. go-go tune. And as soon as we started playing the groove and working through the changes, everybody started smiling because we realized we had taken this thing that probably wasn't supposed to work, but because we trusted each other and were willing to put our minds and our heads together, it did work, and it turned out to be great. So that's my thing. I enjoyed the work experience. I enjoyed being around these guys and learning from them. That's still continuing even right now, even as we've rehearsed for the reunion show. I'm still learning things. We're still cooperating in this really wonderful manner.
Parting is so bittersweet. But I would have to say that I guess my favorite part of being in the band was just being a part of that huge part of what makes Global Village what it is. I've followed the band well before I was in it. Chad Strader was a schoolmate of mine. We were both in choir together. And to just watch him move on the way he did in such a big way with the likes of all these guys within Global Village was just a beautiful thing to watch. And then to eventually become a part of it was big for me. It's a great cast of members throughout the years with Global Village. I'm just super stoked to be a part of it. Thank you guys for having me. I'm gonna miss you. And this is gonna be a great, great night for us.
When you're in the creative process of making something art, treat the people that you're creating art with as good as you can, because no matter what happens later on down the line, you're gonna have those memories and you're gonna hold on to them. They're gonna be comforting, they're gonna be warm things, and you don't wanna have any negativity or anything that's a lump in that. The people that I played in this band with, they've done so many things. We played so many shows, gone so many places, done so many things. They're like brothers because we made a lot of great stuff, rocked a lot of stages, turned out a lot of houses.
The memories of this, they stem from way back. Not just their talent, but the guys that they were. They're very cool cats inside, so that makes it so much more fun to play with them. They take care of business, but still with a lot of fun. And the thought that this may be the last one again. Guys, I love you all. But from deep, everybody holds a special place with me. And Merry Christmas.
Parting message would be, I enjoyed the time that we had together 20 years ago, 25 years ago, even further. And it was really an honor to come back and see you guys again as grown men and to play music together. I wish everyone well. I hope everyone is happy and successful and healthy. And maybe we'll play again. Good luck.
My message to the band, to all the members I played with and to the ones I didn't, is the way you grew the Global Village music once I left, that it got better, it got more complex, and it continued to grow. And I was able to really appreciate that. And actually, I probably listen to Global Village music more than I do anything else. I mean, I still have a ton of the words memorized to these songs. It means a lot to me, and this opportunity to get to play with all of you, I appreciate it very much, and I'll remember us forever, and I'll actually get to share it with my wife and kids who never knew what Global Village was. They never heard about it outside of me putting the CDs in and letting them hear it and singing the songs to them. So that's my message to you, is that I'm getting to share this with my family, and I want y'all to know that you're a part of getting to grow Global Village with me and my family.
I know the name has continued to linger. The atmosphere at the gigs have continued to linger, although the Houston music scene is not the same anymore. You don't see this stuff anymore. Some of the legacy, I don't know if we should keep it going because it was a nonstop party. At some point, it might not be too good. You know, I don't know if you want your kids to know everything that you did, but the fact that so many people are interested in hearing all this again is amazing to me. The fact that they will come back because of the name recognition, the fact that that's going to continue is really good. And who knows, there might be another show at one time, you know, who knows? So it makes me feel good that it's continued.
You know, it's just crazy to think, who would have thought that all those years ago when we started this thing, it would have had the impact, not on just Houston, but on our lives as well. I met a guy literally just the other night. He's like, I saw you guys downtown. And it's a guy I've been playing with for years, and he didn't even know I was in that band. I'm like, yeah, that was me. And he's like, Global Village was awesome. So, I mean, it's just a good example of how it reached more people than we probably even realized, and it'll definitely be a legacy that outlasts us for sure.
What amazes me most is how all the blood, sweat, and tears we put in through those years, it's been timeless. The music carries on, people still listen, people still want it, and I still get recognized around town, and I'm so proud to have spent the years with you guys.
It becomes a part of your life. It's not just a song or not just a show or anything like that. It's a memory that's in there with first kisses and things like that. And I think that's going to be something that Global Village can look back on and be proud of. They're gonna leave a lasting stain on a lot of people's minds just because they were a lot of fun. Help people forget, lighten up, have a good time.
You know, it was funny. I had met my wife at a Global Village show, Angela, and since we got married, and actually before we got married, she would often introduce me as, have you ever heard of the band Global Village? And more often than not, the person would say, well, yeah, I used to go see them all the time. And she would say, well, my husband, and she would tell the story about how we met and how I played in Global Village. And that's one of the amazing things about the band is, I was at my favorite restaurant the other day, and I was talking to the guy next to me at Escalante's and telling him about the reunion show, and he's like, I used to come see you guys play. And so it's one of those things to where, we've been creating memories since 1990, and the band has been going, from 90 to 2005, but the memories of going to see the band and the legacy lives on. And that's one of those things, that's the amazing thing about Global Village is the players are in and out, but no matter whether it's me or another saxophone player or maybe a different singer or drummer, the legacy of the band lives on. And it's a true testament to the life we give to the music and the life that we gave to the band as we continue to play everywhere. And I think that will hold true for a very long time, even after we're gone. I think that it's one of those things that I'm sure we'll continue to hear for the rest of our lives, and that maybe our kids or our grandkids who may be watching this one day will watch it and know or remember, man, I remember when Dad or I remember when Grandpa showed me this video of Global Village or of the band or of the interview, or I remember going to the reunion show and man, that was awesome. And this, to me, the reunion of Global Village and doing this performance, it's gonna go down in history as the best, the greatest. No other local band in Houston has ever put on a show like this. And for me, it is the exclamation point finale for the legacy of Global Village.
With Global Village, the one thing I thought that was so cool, it was that it was just fun. It was fun. They had their great messages in there too, but the one song that kind of is the one for me is Dance to the Music. It's iconic for this band. And that's what it was. You came out, they played, and people danced. And it's a party. Like JP says, all Funketeers to the stage, right? And the Funketeers also hit the dance floor too.
My favorite song is What It Takes. We never played it live, but the time that we spent in the studio developing that song and recording it, I still think it's my favorite song.
You know, when we first started with the band, they started at 19, I was 43 when I first met them. At 19, they wanted to play funk music. And it was a 9-piece band, you know, with the horns and all of us, you know, man. And it was like, man, you know, we had to do a lot of work getting these things together, you know, a whole lot of work, man. And for me, at the age I am, just to be with some young people like that, man, who really want to do some of the music, you know, right here in Houston, you know, that was a real cool thing for me, you know. It really is, man, a real cool thing. And now, we had some beautiful shows. We had some awesome shows. And I think, you know, with this coming back after 20 years we ain't played together, man, I think we're gonna get a chance to do the next 5 years or something. The legacy is still gonna live down. I think we always gonna be solid with Global Village. We'll be old and gray, but the Global Village and the Boogeyman gonna always be around.
This is awesome. You guys are awesome. When I think back on our years together, gratefulness is the word that comes to my mind. And so I just want to give a short message to each and every one of you that we spent so much time together and literally an adopted band of brothers. I felt like I was adopted into a family. And being the youngest guy in the band, it was like I had a bunch of big brothers. So I want to personally thank each of you. With a grateful heart, I look back with a lot of fondness of the memories that I can remember, but we were for each other. And we kept the main thing, which was the music. I had a blast doing it. I wish well of all you guys. Let's continue to pursue our dreams in this life. Love you guys.
I think if I had anything to say to those guys, man, I would think you should be very, very proud of what you've done. Very proud of it. You were a good band, but you were also a good organization, man, and you were good people. I'm glad I got to meet you. I'm glad I got an opportunity to perform with you, and that's going to be a memory that I keep, is the very fact that I got to meet you, I got to know you guys, and I got to perform with you. It was my pleasure, and it was an honor.
Ever since I can remember 2, 3, 4 years old maybe, you know, it started with playing Hot Wheels on my grandma's piano and parking them between the black keys. And music has been a part of my life ever since then. You guys took a big chunk of that. I miss you guys. I'm so proud to be here doing this show again with you. And I look forward to maintaining our friendships for the rest of our lives.